Pensioner Gordon Layton could lose his home over a simple mistake anyone could make. Gordon accidentally transferred money to the wrong man, and he's not giving it back.
Wow, Gordon, there's a lot of work to be done here.
Yes, there's a lot of work, but it's just one job at a time.
This is an 88-year-old pensioner's money. That means if we don't get it back, my father has to sell his house to be able to pay the debt. How is that fair?
Does this make you angry?
Yes, it does. But the thing is, for me, not to get uptight, not to get upset and get high blood pressure.
88-year-old Gordon Layton has every right to be angry. He thought he'd paid for his house, but he mistakenly paid the wrong person.
That's the sickening feeling when you realise that $71,500 of your father's is gone.
Jackie Morrison-White is Gordon's daughter. She says her dad saved a bank account in the wrong name, and instead of paying the company which moved this old house onto his land, Gordon paid someone else.
Well, at first I was quite flustered, obviously. However, I had faith that given that we'd come across the problem so quickly and we'd notified both the banks so promptly, it was only 3 hours since the transfer, that we would be fine.
But everything wasn't fine. Gordon transferred $71,400 from his ING account to a wrong ANZ account, and the money cleared that day. Worse still, it now appears the money was taken out of the ANZ also on the same day. It all happened so fast, the banks say they couldn't stop it.
Well, obviously I wasn't pleased. In fact, I was real pissed off that this guy had taken the opportunity to say, well, I'm not giving it back. Bugger you.
And this is the man who allegedly kept Gordon's cash. He's been charged with stealing and is yet to appear in court.
I honestly believe that the banks have enabled him to be able to take the money and keep it, and they've just been able to throw their hands in the air and say, well, we followed our processes, which are clearly not good enough.
I would say that it amazed me that the bank was not prepared to do anything.
In a statement, a spokesman for Gordon's bank, ING, says, unfortunately, Mr Layton paid the money to the wrong person who has an account at ANZ. When we were alerted to Mr Layton's mistake, we sent a recall request to ANZ, but they were unable to return the funds to Mr Layton's ING account. After she complained, Jackie says ING sent her details of what happened.
So you can see that the actual funds transfer was done on the 14th of June. The ING recalled it on the 15th, so for whatever reason they didn't act for 24 hours, and that seems to be a contributing factor. And then the ANZ have come back to the ING the day after to say that insufficient funds were there.
In a statement, a spokesman for ANZ said depending on how a payment's made, it can clear within a very short period of time or take up to 48 hours before it's available in the recipient's account. And, as this is now a police matter, we won't make any further comment.
It's become evident that the ANZ did try to get the money back. The funds had already been moved out that day, and they had to ask the unintended recipient's permission to get the money back. Of course, he said no.
You've got electricity, but no water.
Electricity, but no water, yes. Yeah.
At this stage, Gordon can't live in his house and has been forced to stay with family or sleep in the shed out the back.
Well, I lived in the shed down there for 18 months, and I got most of the things set up so that I could move into here.
But Gordon may never get to move in. Now David Wright House Removers, the company which sold him the house and moved it onto his land, is threatening legal action over the payment.
And you can't blame them for that. So they've engaged solicitors and so it's becoming, another contender in the legal fight.
Because clearly this is something any of us could do, isn't it? That you're one digit away from making a wrong transfer, aren't you?
Correct. Two great big banks earn a ton of money every year for their stakeholders. Little old pensioner makes a mistake and they've thrown their arms in the air and said, we can't help you. I think that's wrong.
Don't want the money to come to me. I want the money to come to the people that transferred the house up to here. That's where it belongs.